Hello everybody and welcome back. It's been a while. Hang on a minute. The mic's a little bit too far away at the moment. It's been a while. Usually it's 2 weeks between every show, but there was a birthday I had in the middle there and suddenly it turned into 4. But don't you worry, we're back now and we'll be back for this week, next week, the week after that, and then one more week because we are into what I like to call the big 5. Today we're up to SDG11. We'll talk more about that very soon. So obviously we then have 12, 13, 14 and 15. Guess what, Harry? They can all count. Brilliant. Excellent counting. So why do I call these the big 5? Well, for me, they're the big 5 in terms of climate change because they're specifically focused towards climate change. There are lots of others that are all interlinked, as I've said so many times before. No poverty, zero hunger. All of these ideas are interlinked. Of course, gender equality, quality education, all of them are linked and they can all be drawn back to climate change, and climate change can be drawn into all of those. But these 5, sustainable cities and communities, responsible production and consumption, climate action, which will be out on Earth Day, which is actually a coincidence, life underwater and life on land. These 5 are huge ones towards climate change and climate action. And as the IPCC report said, we don't have a lot of time, so I'll tell you what, over the next 5 weeks, we'll be learning an awful lot more about it. So, if you want to donate some money, feel free. coffee.com/renewable English. Keep us as free as possible. You know where we are, because you're here already. We're here on YouTube. And of course, you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram. We're also on Twitter and TikTok. And we're always Renewable English. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about sustainable cities and communities. Now, this was a quote that jumped out at me. It jumped out right in my face when I was thinking of what we could talk about. An endless number of green buildings doesn't make a sustainable city. Now, don't get me wrong, we need to be going down an avenue of green architecture, more energy efficient buildings, and if we need any more. Because let's be honest, the biggest issue we have is that we always want more. We always want more. We want to buy more. We want to use more. We want to get more. And that's the huge issue here. In terms of the planet, is we just keep taking and not giving. So the fact that, I don't know, we build some new houses over there and they've all got solar panels on them, not really the answer. Should we be retrofitting houses with solar panels? Absolutely. But this won't make a sustainable city. We'll have a look at a video of a sustainable city later. A sustainable city. But let's see. Is it really a sustainable city or is it a really expensive attempt at greenwashing? I don't really know. What do you think, Estrella? What do you think? Any idea? How can we make sustainable cities? She's ignoring me. Do feel free, say hello in the chat box. It would be lovely to hear from you. And we'll start, as always, with some general vocab. And let me know what you think about this quote. Does it mean anything to you? So, our vocab today, we have a megacity, we have slums, we have urban, and we have rural. Now, if you are paying attention to Instagram on Tuesday, you will have seen the vocab videos. There will be another one next Tuesday for responsible production and consumption, and it will be me looking like a clown on Instagram, much like I did earlier when I just trying to decide which hat to wear, because I just couldn't decide, and I'm not sure I can still, although it's a little bit warm to be wearing a beanie now. So what is a mega city? What is a mega city? What do we think? Any ideas? Put it in the chat if you know what a mega city is. A mega city is, it's there on your worksheet as well if you have downloaded the worksheet. If you haven't downloaded the worksheet, I will put it into the chat box there. It's easy to find on renewableenglish.com over there in the materials section. He says it's easy to find. I only know where it is because I made the website, so it's easy for me. It might not be easy for everybody else, but it's just in here. I'll give you the link there in the chat box if you want to go and get yourself the worksheet. You don't need to print it. You can use it online. Good. And Mexico City looks like Mexico City. Very, very good. Mexico City is indeed a mega city because it has a population of over 10 million people. Now, I know when I moved to China, I lived near a city called Zhongshan. And I said, wow, is it a big city? And they said to me, no. There's only 3 million people living there. At which point my jaw hit the floor. Only 3 million people. I couldn't understand that kind of mentality of a city that had only 3 million. Now, a slum is an area within a city that is an overcrowded area and it has high levels of poverty. There are lots of people. There are over 1 billion people across the world living in slums. These aren't sustainable cities, of course. With a very poor standard of living, without access to waste management, access to electricity is low. So it's something that needs to be worked on very hard, of course. Now, there's the last two are urban and rural. I love saying that word. It's such a strange word to say. Rural. In Spanish, it would be rural. But yeah, in English, rural. I don't know, it sounds very weird. So urban is, of course, a city or a town. And rural is the countryside. So not a city or a town. Now, I live in a village that's about 10 minutes from a city. But I'd say I'm pretty rural because I can see the countryside from my window. And I like it here, but we are within reach of a city. So we're not far from being urban. So what is SDG11, Sustainable Cities and Communities? We can see here, these are the SDGs. You can see that we are up to number 11. And this is the nice orange one. But let's take a closer look. These are the targets to have safe and affordable housing. Well, doing well there, guys, because it's certainly affordable at the moment, isn't it? Affordable and sustainable transport systems. I'm not sure where you live, what the transport's like, but I know here to get into the city, it's an absolute nightmare. Inclusive and sustainable urbanisation. So this is access for everyone, everywhere. And of course, the use of lots of renewable energies. So you can see there the solar panels, retrofitting these ideas, of course. Protect the world's cultural and natural heritage. This is one should surely be easy. Stop destroying it and building on it. I mean, not a difficult place to start. The next one is one that I think we have failed with massively already. Reduce the adverse effect of natural disasters. I think what we're doing here now is not so much climate mitigation. We're not reducing them. What we're trying to do is adapt to them. So I think we're quite far from this at the moment, but what we can do is try our best to improve the way we live. And take a look at the next one, to reduce the environmental impact of cities. Now, Miriam made a brilliant point about Mexico City earlier. I know that on Sundays they close down the main street and it's just for bikes now. Why can't we do this elsewhere? And why does it only have to be on a Sunday? Let's close down main streets for 2 hours a day and make them only available for bikes. That would surely reduce the impact of cities. And then the last one, provide access to safe and inclusive green and public spaces. So areas where everybody can go, everyone can be outside, everyone can enjoy some freedom and run around. And they need to be kept clean as well. And it shouldn't be down to people like Kids Against Plastic and OK Planeta here in Spain, and Surfers Against Sewage and Common Seas. And it shouldn't be against all these people to go out there and clean these places up. Number one, they shouldn't be dirty in the first place. Number two, aren't governments employing people to keep them clean? And it shouldn't be an issue. People should have learnt by now that destroying these areas isn't okay, but who knows? So the first one here, strong national and regional development planning. Good job. We're 7 years in now, guys. We're not even close. Implementation for policies for inclusion, resource efficiency, and disaster risk prediction. This seems like they've opened a bag and just gone, let's put everything in this bag and then we can solve it that way. This is not one target. This is an awful lot more than one target that they've seemed to have tarred with one brush. And now, support least developed countries in sustainable and resilient building. Well, let's try sustainable and resilient building where we are now in the first place. Now this infographic rather, I found is all about India. One of the enormous places in the world that has an awful lot of people living there. And they're soon going to have over 7 megacities with a population of over 10 million in each one. Only 31% of people live in urban areas, which might sound like a lot, but by 2050, we're predicting that 50% of the world's population will live in urban areas. But of those 31%, 17% of them live in slums. So we have 17% of people living in slums in India. 13% of urban households don't have sanitary toilets. And then you can see the amount of waste that is generated by cities. But for me, the biggest statistic here, the starkest fact of all, is that over 1.2 million people died from pollution-related deaths in 2017. I just let that sink in for a moment. 1.2 million people. Now, there's about 2 million people living in Latvia. So you've got over 50% of the population of Latvia have died in India from pollution-related deaths. I'm sorry, but that's not okay. That is not okay. And something else that isn't okay are the Unfun Facts that are going to be brought to you by our good friend, Unfun Frank. Pay close attention. Keep your eye on the infographic because there are some questions coming right up after this.
Hello chums, it's Unfun Frank here, back after a very long time away. Anyway, it's time for Unfun Facts. Here we go. only half of the world's urban population have access to convenient public transport. That means they're at least 500 metres from a bus stop. 9 out of 10, 90% of urban residents breathe polluted air. Ugh, that's horrible. 2 billion people do not have access to waste disposal. 2 billion. And last but by not least, for today's Unfun Facts, cities, and of course the people within the cities, contribute to 70% of CO2 emissions and also 70% of energy usage and consumption. We need to cut down quite a lot. I'll see you next week.
So that was Unfun Frank, and he was unimpressed with those unfun facts. So I've already chucked the answers up there for you, the 3 statements. So let's go through one by one. Most people in the world have access to public transport. What do you think? Put it in the chat box. Is that true or false? What do you think? Put it in the chat box. Is it true or false? It is, of course. It is not true. As we can see over here.
Hello, chums.
Hey, you, be
Frank
quiet, Frank.
here, back after a very long time away. Anyway, it's time for Unfun.
You can see there that it is under. There you go, only half. Thank you very much, Miriam. Fantastic. The next one here. 90% of people don't breathe clean air. 90% of people don't breathe clean air. What do you think? Is it true or false? What do you think? Is it true or false? Very good, Naomi. Fantastic. Good job. It is true. 9 out of 10 people breathe polluted air. Now, I'm not sure that's really okay. That should be something that's high on the list of things we address with our sustainable cities. And the last one here. Cities consume well over half of the world's energy. Cities consume well over half of the world's energy. Is it true or false? Is it true or false? I don't know. Is it true or false? It could be true. It could be false. Over half of the world's energy is consumed by cities. It is, of course, this is 100% true because it's 70%. 70% of the world's energy is consumed by cities. There are lots of ways we can reduce this. For example, one really easy thing, why don't shops turn their lights off at night? Why do they all have their things all lit up? Oh, look, this is the Nike shop. I don't care, Nike. It's night time when you're closed. So turn your lights off. Be more impressed with that. Also, you can't generate any solar energy at this time of night. So enough of the lights. So that's a nice, easy step to take. Now, we do have a video coming up. And it's all about a sustainable city. It's all about a sustainable city. So let's check the questions before we start. We've got, what is SDG11? Have a look at that. You've got your options 1, 2 and 3. Where is Masdar City? Is it near Abu Dhabi? Is it near London? Is it near Tokyo? So you know what you're listening out for. Remember, with all listenings, you should always keep an eye on the questions first. How much cooler is Masdar City than Abu Dhabi? Have a listen, have a think. What do you think the narrator means by a green print for future cities? And how does the city prevent a need for cars? Now, my first thing is, I don't like this phrase, future cities. Why do we need any more cities? We've got loads. Let's not think about future cities. Let's think about trying to fix the ones we've got before we start building new ones. Come on, guys. Always thinking. So let's check it out. Time for the video.
Welcome to Masdar City, the city of possibilities. A daring and evolutionary journey to build the world's most advanced and sustainable community. A city we're shaping with an eye for a better future. Masdar City is centrally and strategically located next to Abu Dhabi Airport, from where major international markets can be reached within hours. The city is built using traditional Arabic architecture combined with modern technology and design. Narrow walkways capture the wind and provide shade, making the perceived temperature 10 degrees cooler in Masdar City than elsewhere in Abu Dhabi, encouraging a healthy and comfortable lifestyle, where everything is within walking distance. The buildings are powered by clean energy, constructed using green building materials and designed to reduce energy and water consumption by 40%. This modern work-life space is made possible by the forward-thinking approach in designing every detail of Masdar City, making it the green print for cities across the world. But this is just the beginning. Masdar City will grow one neighborhood at a time, adding new businesses, schools, restaurants, apartments, and so much more. Eventually, over 90,000 people will live and work in the city. Throughout the expansion, residential, cultural, and commercial areas will be interwoven with parks and a wide variety of services and amenities. Residents and visitors can leave their cars behind and enjoy the open and pedestrian-friendly neighborhoods. Integrated, clean, and smart transportation systems, including a fleet of electric vehicles and driverless cars, keep the city active.
So we can see there, we'll go back and watch the video again in just a moment. There are some... Ritik, hello, sir. I've just seen you've arrived. Lovely to have you here, kind sir. We're just watching this video. I'll put it on again for you as you obviously arrived halfway through it. These are the questions for the video. What is SDG11? Where is Masdar City? How much cooler is Masdar City to Abu Dhabi? What does you think the narrator means by a green pin for future cities? And how does the city prevent the need for cars? And then we'll have a quick talk about, is this the answer or is this governmental greenwashing from one of the world's largest oil providers?
Welcome to Masdar City, the city of possibilities. A daring and evolutionary journey to build the world's most advanced and sustainable community. A city we're shaping with an eye for a better future. Masdar City is centrally and strategically located next to Abu Dhabi Airport, from where major international markets can be reached within hours. The city is built using traditional Arabic architecture combined with modern technology and design. Narrow walkways capture the wind and provide shade, making the perceived temperature 10 degrees cooler in Masdar City than elsewhere in Abu Dhabi, encouraging a healthy and comfortable lifestyle, where everything is within walking distance. The buildings are powered by clean energy, constructed using green building materials and designed to reduce energy and water consumption by 40%. This modern work-life space is made possible by the forward-thinking approach in designing every detail of Masdar City, making it the green print for cities across the world. But this is just the beginning. Masdar City will grow one neighborhood at a time, adding new businesses, schools, restaurants, apartments, and so much more. Eventually, over 90,000 people will live and work in the city. Throughout the expansion, residential, cultural and commercial areas will be interwoven with parks and a wide variety of services and amenities. Residents and visitors can leave their cars behind and enjoy the open and pedestrian-friendly neighborhoods. Integrated, clean and smart transportation systems, including a fleet of electric vehicles and driverless cars, keep the city accessible and...
So there we go. Naomi has answered 2 and 3 for us, which is fantastic. But what is SDG 11? Is it renewable energies for our cities, clean cities, or sustainable cities and communities? What do you think, Estrella? Any idea? Tell me, 1, 2 or 3. What do you think? She's paying no attention. Outrageous. So, what do we think? And now, don't get me wrong. Very good, Miriam. It is number 3. Fantastic work. Naomi has said that the Masdar city is near Abu Dhabi. Brilliant. Very good. Excellent. All of you have got the answer correct there. Yeah, Masdar city is near. It's just outside Abu Dhabi. It's close to the airport. And Naomi also said that it is 10 degrees cooler. It is 10 degrees cooler than Abu Dhabi because of how it's been built. It has been very intelligently built. Don't get me wrong. I do love the idea of how it has been built. I just don't exactly know the point in why it's been built. I think it's been built mostly like the sustainable city in Dubai. It's a way of saying, hey guys, look what we're doing. Aren't we brilliant? Is this the future? If we can do this to existing cities, it would be amazing. What do you think the narrator means by a green print for future cities? Have you heard of the term blueprint that architects use? A blueprint is what architects use when they're drawing up plans for buildings and stuff like that. I think it's playing on that it's not obviously a blueprint, it's a green print because it's sustainable and environmentally friendly. And lastly, how does the city prevent the need for cars? What do they do to prevent the need for cars? Now, this is something we could do in existing cities without a shadow of a doubt. We could do this in so many cities to prevent the need for cars. Basically, good public transport. The answer isn't let's all go out and buy an electric car. The answer is let's have good, reasonably priced public transport so we don't need to go out there and buy an electric car. Exactly. And everything is walking distance. You know, it's all very close. And there are these really smart, almost like trams or monorails where you can get from place to place. So brilliant. Thank you very much. It's almost time to bring an end to this session, but there is still time for everybody's favourite part of the lesson. We all know what it is. It is the wonderful Ali with her top tips. Now, please feel free to add any of your top tips in here, or of course, share them with us across the socials. It would be great to hear from you. But here we go for Ali's top tips.
Hi and welcome to Ali's Top Tips. Today we're talking about sustainable cities and communities. Eat, drink and shop locally. Walk, ride a bike or use public transport for short trips. Carpool when you have to use the car. Campaign for renewable energy in and on public buildings. Keep your green spaces clean and tidy. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Say bye.
So there were her ideas. Our ideas, obviously, we come to them together. So they were her ideas on what we could do to have a more sustainable city. One suggestion we also had on Facebook was to do some guerrilla gardening or guerrilla. So you go out and you plant seeds outside in like grassy areas and those ideas there. Thank you, Anaya. Another CAP legend. Oh, better put this on for the end of the show to celebrate Be Climate Clever was published today, everybody. So don't forget to rush out and grab your copy of that. The new Kids Against Plastic book has been released. So run out there and grab it. So yeah, what are your tips for having a sustainable city? I know that Anaya here keeps her city tidy. In fact, she keeps Britain tidy, and she's been seen doing that. She is brilliant. So thank you very much for doing that. But what are your ideas? Share them with us on the socials. You can find us here. You can also find us on Twitter. I should update this and chuck Twitter on there as well. Put your comments in the chat box. I'm sure your students will become as conscious as Ali, Miriam, because they've got a wonderful teacher just like you. And of course, feel free to donate if you so desire. There's an interview in the Cap New book with me. There is indeed, Inaya, you're absolutely right. And I just saw a flick of the picture today and it kind of made my tummy feel funny in a good way. That does bring us to the end of today's show. Lesson, really. Next week we've got an interview with a sustainable straw producer. We're talking all about responsible production and consumption production. Anyway, we'll be here talking about that. Then the week after, it's the really big one, climate action. And we've got some great special guests coming up. No names mentioned, of course. And we'll be here, as always, to see you, to help you through, help your students through, to come up with ideas, to learn towards making a difference. So thanks, everyone, for being here. It's time to go.